Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Moss, the official podcast of Somos Moss NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Joining me this evening, we have Earl Nieto and the just barely on time Jacob Terrell. Do appreciate you guys both being here this week. We do, of course, have a New Mexico United match to talk about, but before we get into that, I do have one burning question for you guys. How bad did the Cowboys suck?
The Cowboys won.
I know. How bad did they suck?
Not as bad as the Atlanta Falcons.
Who?
Exactly.
I don't even know who that is. I mean, you know, they've been within a possession of both games, so you know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. I mean, seriously, Earl, I mean, do the Cowboys actually have a quarterback in Cooper Rush, or is this just okay? That's what I thought. See, Jacob's over here trying to give them credit.
No. I'm just saying they have a win. Atlanta doesn't. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Fuck.
Appreciate that, Earl. First F-bomb of the show. But yeah, NFL season is underway. We haven't really talked about it too much. All I know is that my fantasy league team is dominating. I would have won my matchup with just 2 wide receivers and my quarterback this week. So yeah, I mean, 2 weeks in, early thoughts on the NFL season. I mean, obviously Dallas has an issue. Atlanta has issues. I think Denver's got some issues. Some other teams.
Dallas has always had issues.
No, Dallas has one issue.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, yeah.
And that's always the issue.
Jacob, how are the Broncos doing? I haven't looked to see where they're at.
The Broncos?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just asking. Where are the Broncos at?
So
They're in Denver.
I watched so I have a big money fantasy league and I have Javonte Williams. They're one of their running backs.
Uh-huh.
So I was watching their game Sunday through the eyes of that. Yet what struck me was how bad the coaching was in Denver. I mean, it was atrocious and was entertaining. But I don't think I've ever yelled at the TV more for a team that wasn't my team.
I think that's fair, you know, especially when we are avid fantasy football players. I mean, I sent you guys some screenshots the other day, and Jacob, I thought for sure you would respond when I said I had wide receiver problem. But yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks.
I didn't because I'm bitter because my team is 0-2. And it's very frustrating right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll join you next week because your boy, old Mike Evans, decided to be a goofball.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't exactly see what happened, but I guess
it's Tom Brady. What do you expect him to do?
Someone was jawing at Crybaby Baby, Tom Brady.
Not somebody. Marshawn Lattimore, who's
so then Tom Brady decided to have a little conniption fit. And instead of going and fighting the guy on his own, like a real dude would do, a real man would do, he has all his friends, and I put friends in quotations, come and do his dirty work and pick up suspensions.
I don't think he said, "Hey, Mike, come here." I'm pretty sure Evans decided, "Hey, I hate this guy, and I love Tom Brady, so I'm going to go knock this dude out," and that's what happened.
Yeah, well, he just officially knocked me out of my fantasy league, so
it's 1 week, bro. And Mike Evans hasn't been putting up numbers anyways.
No, he hasn't.
A knucklehead.
That's why I'm glad, you know, I went ahead and pre-ranked my draft, and I ended up with, you know, Josh Allen, Edwards-Helaire, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Waddle. Yeah, it's been a good couple weeks.
That's a really good team.
The funny thing is none of this matters because
see, like right here, that was what I drafted, like on auto draft.
What's funny though is that
stupidest roster ever, and 49ers D.
Like, none of it matters, Seth, because unless you win a championship, 2 weeks in the regular season, nobody cares.
No, I know. I absolutely know. I mean, this is a league that I've won, you know, I think 4 times now. So, it's after the injury issues that my team had last year, it's good to come back and, have a good start to the season. So, I'm proud of my guys. They've done well. They had a little chat beforehand. And same thing over in the Premier League. Everton's come back. They had a win out the weekend, get their first win of the season. Earl, how is Eintracht doing? You don't know?
No, I've been so signed out these past couple weeks. It's hasn't been funny, that's for sure.
Jacob Spurs, how the Spurs doing?
Pretty damn good. Tied for second, top of the table, behind Arsenal, unfortunately. But no, they look pretty good.
Yeah, the Premier League's been pretty interesting so far this season. Some interesting results coming out of there. The Bundesliga's been a lot of fun to watch. I've been watching La Liga, watching CONCACAF, or not CONCACAF, Champions League. Champions League is underway, the group stage, and there's been some interesting matches over there. I don't know if you guys have caught any of that. No, and Jacob's not even paying attention now.
No, I am.
Okay.
I haven't watched any full matches except for I don't remember. I watched one. I don't remember which one it was. It was last week. But no, I typically for Champions League, I don't start paying attention to the knockouts.
Okay.
Because I don't have the time that Seth does. Apparently, Seth's over here watching every soccer game ever played in any league whatsoever, and I'm like, oh man, I barely watched the United game. So
pretty much, I mean, as of right now, Liverpool is not advancing. Again, there's still plenty of time to go. So Liverpool not advancing is interesting. Frankfurt's not advancing currently. Chelsea is like shitting the bed in Champions League. So yeah, a lot of interesting results from coming out of the Champions League already. Should be fun to watch. And we're like 2 months away from the World Cup. And I don't think we've given this anywhere near enough discussion. Like World Cup is coming up in 2 months, and we're on international break right now. There's some friendlies going on. I mean, the kits were finally officially revealed,
and they're garbage.
Yeah, I mean, we knew the kits were garbage beforehand, but I mean, I know I've seen some comments from some folks saying that they're like a cocky statement, like we've done something. Like, do you think that's fair, or do you think that it's people are making much ado about nothing?
I don't understand that comment at all.
Yeah. I think it's like Alexi Lalas or someone made that comment saying that, it came across as being cocky because of how plain the kits were.
I'm so confused.
That makes no sense to me, but I don't know. They are what they are. It will just, we play England, Iran, and Wales, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk World Cup here in the coming months, but yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the men's national team, provided everyone is healthy and ready to go. Robert over in the chat, appreciate you joining us. Dale SAFC.
Before we continue, I do have to. I was confused this week actually.
Okay, why are you confused?
Monday, I get this card, and it says "Get well" or "Get better soon." I wasn't sick.
Who sent you the card? I'm very confused.
It just showed up in my office and said "Get better soon."
Okay,
but I wasn't sick. No name, no nothing. Just "Get better soon."
Maybe it was just like
you did just have COVID, so. And
a cat hair, apparently.
No, I had this. You guys probably can't see it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
little red fuzzy on my beard.
Huh. Harry's in the chat as well. Frater getting an award. Nope, Frater is not getting an award. Harry, not Frater. So yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into it. Obviously, at the weekend, New Mexico United went down to San Antonio to take on the Western Conference leading San Antonio FC. Walked away, splitting the points with a very obvious offside call that was missed, and a beautiful goal by Chris Wehan. No handballs involved, suspected handballs involved. But I do have to say that the award for the best acting performance on the night goes to Kamiri. So congratulations to him. First ever acting award from Somos Mas for an interesting foul. So, I mean, obviously going into the weekend, none of us thought that United was going to get the win down there, which apparently scared Harry a bit.
No, we're not, Harry. Oh my
Harry,
God.
we are not wrong on that offside call. We have stilled it. We have drawn photoshops of where the lines would be. He was offside clearly. But yeah, so how was this a big enough result for United? Do you think it's something that's going to help them going forward? Let's just start right there.
Yes. I thought Earl looked like he was going to talk, and then he just kept smiling. To go on the road over there when you've been playing like crap and to get a result, it's got to at least boost some confidence. So, and then you look at the schedule now. We go to San Diego.
No, we have Vegas next.
Vegas, that's right. Vegas, and then San Diego. So go to Vegas now. Vegas is kind of reeling. We talked about it. I think it was last week. Danny Trejo, the Machete, isn't on the team anymore. He got called up to LAFC, and then Cal Jennings is still there, but he kind of fed off of Trejo. So I think getting a point on the road over there is going to boost some confidence and hopefully give us a little jolt that we need to go up against Vegas. What are we doing?
Hang on 1 second. So yes, as you can see, he is offside. Clearly offside on that.
Earl's faces tonight, man.
Did you not even see it, Earl?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, hang on. I'm going to put it right back up there. Clearly, you can see from our high-tech Photoshop and VAR technology, Bailone was, in fact, offside. Clearly, you can see the difference in the spacing between him and the box and the right back in the box. So,
Robert, I'm like trying to semi-defend you, and then you just throw shit in at my forehead. I see. I thought we were cool.
Yeah.
I
So
thought we had a good time last week. I thought we had something special.
Our expert Photoshop skills does in fact prove that Bailone was offside. But so Jacob, you were saying yes, this was big enough. This does propel them forward going into Vegas next week. I mean, what is it about this performance that puts you in that mindset?
We didn't get destroyed by the best team in the West, and arguably have played them. Other than Phoenix, have played them the best all season. 1-1 draw and then a 1-0 loss that we were the better team in. I don't think I could say we were the better team definitively in this match, but it was pretty even. And if you look at their one goal being offside, it was a little lucky by them to get that goal. And I'm relatively sure Nicholas Murray even said it was a questionable goal, but hey,
he sure did.
You guys see things through rose-colored glasses if you'd like.
And Harry, to your point here, when the ball was, yes, that was exactly it's within milliseconds of when the ball was kicked. He was clearly offside, and the referee missed that call there. Earl, what was your takeaway from Saturday night? Were you impressed with the performance from United? Did you think that we deserve more? Do you think that it was what was your takeaway?
Well, considering that my prediction was completely wrong,
Well,
I did text you. I didn't catch the prediction part. I tried to listen to it, but I predicted 3-0 for San Antonio.
Minimum
and
3-0.
Yeah, minimum of 3. And when they scored 1, I said, all right, I'm gonna be right on track today. Perfect. And then we scored somehow. I say somehow because it's San Antonio. I don't know how we scored. Overall, I think we played really good. I was a little hesitant on the lineup. As I text you guys, I was pretty hesitant on it. I was more questioned about the substitutions that didn't really happen. But overall, I mean, I think we played good. I would love to say that this sparks us. Unfortunately, I don't think it does. I think we play average the rest of the season and probably enough to get at least 1 point each time. Yeah.
All right. To your point there, Harry. I mean, Nicholas Murray has come out and said that when he does the power rankings, it is a "what have you done for me lately" type of thing, and it's not necessarily reflecting the actual records of any clubs. But as far as the observation, as far as the goal, questionable goal, I think he's absolutely spot on. But yeah, watching the match, a fairly even match. I felt like defensively we played pretty well throughout the night. We didn't really give up a lot of opportunities for San Antonio to really try to enforce their game plan on the outcome. So I felt like, defensively it was a pretty solid match. One of the better defensive matches that we've had in probably the last 2 months or so. Did we do enough offensively? No, especially not in the first half. I don't think we were anywhere near creative enough in the first half. We weren't pushing anything. You could see it, and I don't have a problem with it, but we were actively trying to slow down the match. So we weren't necessarily seeing a lot of runs, a lot of space creation, and all sorts of things like that.
I think we were trying to do the first half was just wear them out. I think that's what we were trying to do, is just wear them out. Especially after they scored the first, we played smart. I mean, we didn't really play dumb soccer at all. I mean, we played smart soccer, that's for sure. But it was very obvious that we didn't want to put ourselves into a dangerous position where they can counter us, kind of like Phoenix did. But I seriously think that we played very smart just to wear them down, and that's where the Wehan goal came in play. They didn't expect the cross coming from Yerzy, that's for sure. And when it happened, they're like, "Oh shit, okay."
Austin was left with a ton of space out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they expected him to actually get the ball, especially coming off of a long injury. I mean, he was down for a month and a half, almost 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to come out and then grab the ball and put an assist in, I don't think they expected us to come back with that kind of firepower, especially the second half. We never play good. The second half, usually when we pack it in, just call it what it is. I think we could have got a second goal had we made smarter subs. I mean, obviously I'm not the guy in charge, and I don't ever want to be the guy in charge. And I don't envy the guy in charge ever, because he could have beat El Paso, or he could have beat San Antonio 3-0. And there's still going to be the idiots on Reddit and Twitter and Facebook saying that he should have used this or he should have did that when he wins. Then he draws to the best team in the Western Conference, and can arguably say the cleanest team in the league. I would honestly say that. We draw to one of the best teams in the league for sure, and there's still shit on Facebook saying that he should have did this and he should have did that. Yeah, he should have did that, but he's the one getting paid the money. He's the one getting paid money to make those decisions, and maybe he didn't want to put Mondo in, or maybe he didn't want to put Brucey in. Maybe he was happy with what he was seeing on the pitch. Sorry, Harry. I did say the cleanest team in the league. So there is some respect there for sure. And yeah, I respect San Antonio. I mean,
We'll get to this here in just a second, Robert. We'll get to that.
yeah, so I respect San Antonio by all means. I mean, I can show you our text messages. I said 3-0 for San Antonio.
He did say minimum 3-0.
I said 3-0, and then I text right back after. I said minimum. So I didn't expect to even get 1 point out of it. So to see 1 point, I was pretty happy with it. Would I have loved to see 3 points for us? Absolutely. Do I think we could have got the 3 points? Yeah. But like I said, I'm not the guy making the calls. I'm not the one making the decisions. And I was just happy to walk out with one. And I'm glad we didn't give up something in the last 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, and to your point there, you're talking about people over on social media. I mean, I've talked about it before. I try to stay off social media, especially in the 24 hours right after a match. But I kind of went through today. I was looking through some of the stuff, and there were people obviously questioning the subs or lack of subs used on Saturday. Obviously, Zach only used the one, bringing in Romario Williams for Kevon there in the second half.
You have that backwards. Kevon for Romario.
What?
Yeah, Romario started.
That's right. Yeah, Romario did start. And so I will ask you about that too here in just a minute, Earl. I thought it was interesting, particularly with the 2 weeks in between matches, that he wouldn't have used more subs. I'm hoping to get a chance to ask him that later this week, simply because I'm really curious about that. Like, why with the 2 week break would you not just use all 5 subs and throw on some other attacking options, or just to try to rotate? Because I'm just curious, because I don't understand it from a tactical standpoint. I mean, obviously he's not a guy that's used all 5 subs in every match. He's not what Troy did. So yeah, I can't. It'd be interesting to see what the thought process was on that. But obviously, Kevon looked pretty good on the night. He's obviously the supporting cast member in a new meme format. If you've seen the stills from Kamiri's Academy Award winning performance. But I wanted to ask you, Earl, and something that we were talking about Saturday night is Romario Williams. You're obviously not a big fan of Romario. You've been less than impressed with his performances so far. What did you think of Romario on Saturday night? Because you said you would get back to us on this.
So he still hasn't changed my opinion. He didn't really. I would say he didn't really do anything on Saturday night. I think he had a couple of chances to score. Maybe. But like I said, he was very quiet. I would love to see Romario just go off one night. I really would. I don't expect it to happen in the next 5 weeks that the season has left. Don't expect it to happen, but it would be nice to see him score 2 or 3 in one night and just change my opinion. I'm going to be less vocal about being a Romario hater. And I'm just going to sit in the background and just accept it. Because no matter how much I bitch, how much I moan, it's not going to change.
Well, we appreciate you acknowledging that and being, moving on to step 2, and moving on with your recovery process from Romario Williams. And to be completely honest, he had no shots on target. He had one chance creation. He really wasn't super involved, but I think a lot of that comes from the game plan. You could see where he was dropping deeper on the pitch. He was holding the ball up really well. He was making good touches. He was being involved that way, not necessarily so much going forward, simply because I think that's what the game plan was. Because United was just trying to slow it down and not press the issue going forward. So watching what he did and what I believe the game plan was against San Antonio, I felt like Romario had a strong night, even though statistically speaking, it's not going to show up anywhere. Jacob, what were your thoughts on Romario specifically?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I thought his hold-up play was probably the best hold-up play we've seen all season from a 9 that we have, and he was able to get his big body up there and receive those balls, have a good first touch, get back on it, and try to spring something coming off the wing or Rehan coming down the middle or something. And I thought he looked good doing that. The offense, as you said earlier, just wasn't creative enough in the first half, which is when he was in there the most. And I don't feel like that was on him. I feel like he was getting the ball in good spots and nobody was making runs in off of him for him to distribute to. And he's not the kind of player that you can kick it deep to and he's going to bring it down and make a turn and get past a couple of guys by himself. Relying on that, you have to have like Messi in order to do that. That's not a solid offense to try to run. So I think Romario specifically, I think was one of our better players in the first half, and it wasn't his fault that we didn't get a whole lot of chances on goal there. And the whole game was, I mean, Harry and Robert both talked about it last week, where I think it was Harry specifically, where it he thought the ball might just kind of ping around. And for a lot of the first half, that's all it was. It was we'd have the ball for like 5 seconds and then we would give it up. And then they would have the ball for like 5 seconds and they would give it up. And we would have the ball for 10 seconds, give it up. They would have the ball for 5 seconds and give it up. I mean, it just was back and forth. There was no flow, no rhythm, no chance to really get in possession and do something with it. So it was a strange game offensively for sure. And so I can't blame not scoring in the first half on Romario, just like I can't blame him not scoring more goals on just Romario when the offense has been non-existent since we brought him in, basically, since before we brought him in.
Yeah, I saw a lot of what you did as well. You know, guys not making runs, a lot of stagnant play. You know, and there were times where when Romario did bring the ball down, and you mentioned it as well. You know, a much better first touch, controlling the ball and looking for those outlet passes. But you could see guys like we weren't making runs, we weren't working into space, we weren't necessarily closing down in areas to make more passes available, make more options available. And so again, I think it comes down to game plan. Not necessarily pushing the issue going forward and just trying to slow it down. And Harry's got some stats here. Yeah, passing was terrible for both teams. There were a lot of turnovers in the match. But yeah, I felt like, I felt like looking at the match as a whole, we went down there with the intent to slow it down, which is something we've seen clubs do against San Antonio and do fairly well with it. And, we did that as well. We didn't pick up all 3 points, but we did, prevent, the pace from getting out of control. And I don't think San Antonio looked entirely comfortable on Saturday night. And that's something that, Harry and Robert could probably speak to a little bit more than we could, but they didn't look entirely comfortable with the pace. Like, I think they would have much rather the ball been moving a little bit more, getting guys out of position and being able to make, plays in time. But yeah, I felt like it was just a pretty strong performance. One of the more complete performances that we've seen this season from the guys. And I did want to talk about this because there was kind of a funky moment. I'm sure you guys saw this during the match. Ball goes out of play. United goes to play, get ready. I think it was go to play it back in. And Ford pulls the ball out from underneath the bench throws it up to our guy, goes to throw it in. The referee stops play, and like switches the ball back out. Robert says go to deflate a ball. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that's not what it was, but I think it was just a weird little thing. Did you guys catch that? Like, what did you make of that? Of the referee like stopping play because the ball didn't come back from the stands fast enough.
I had no idea what was going on. And I thought it was the ball that was already in play. I thought that's what, because it looked like the ball gets kicked to the ref. The ref grabs it. And then instead of giving it to the player, he takes it over and sets it down. And I was very confused by that.
Yeah, no, the ball got kicked into the
sense.
stands. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then Ford pulled one out from under the bench to try to get play restarted. And the referee just like wouldn't let it happen. Now I'm assuming it wasn't one of the official match balls for the night. That's probably what it was, other than a deflated ball. But I mean, I don't think it was necessarily anything malicious or anything like that. So I just want to hear you guys thought about that little piece.
I will say at that point in the game, we were clearly creating the most chances and had the best run of play at that point. And I was very annoyed when I thought I didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I was very annoyed when the ball didn't get put back in play right away. So that makes sense if that was what the case was. But at the time I was just like, what are you doing? Let us play.
Right. When enemy moves to the east, they will dominate. Romario can have a foul fest, and Christopher Maradona, Wehan Asante can handball his heart out. Interesting comment there, Robert. Do appreciate that. But if the Mexico United moves to the east, I'm pretty sure we've lost, the East Coast due to an earthquake or something, some freak event. But I don't know, and I kind of disagree with these two comments here from Harry. Neither team played well, or they played the same style, which made for an ugly game to watch. It was ugly to an extent, but to me, I felt like it was just the style more than anything, and yeah, a lot of it was just poor passing, but. I mean, Earl, did you see this as an ugly match, or did you see it as just like, United had a game plan that they wanted to play, came in, did it, or was there or do you think it was, like I said earlier, do you think San Antonio looked uncomfortable doing this? Do you think they wanted a little bit different style?
I don't think it was an ugly match. I think it was a sloppy match. And then obviously with Harry putting the stats up, it just proves my point. I mean, it was very sloppy. I mean, we would pass the ball, would turn the ball over. They turn the ball over. We turn the ball over. They would. We probably had about 4 shots on goal or 4 shots total in the first half. So there wasn't really any goal scoring looking. It was more of a let's just pass the ball around, try to wear them out. Which obviously didn't play in our favor with a 63% passing rate. So yeah, I think it was more sloppy than ugly, but it was exciting, I would say, to watch, just because we were literally playing the same game against an opposing team. I mean, they want to do the same thing as what we're doing to them. No one seemed to. Oh, dear God. No one seemed to have wanted to actually attack, and we just wanted to wear people down. I feel like we are living a. I drew a fucking blank of what's called Team Jacob and Team Edward.
Earl is very much Team Edward, by the way.
No, more of a Jacob.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Jacob. I think it was Jacob, right?
Yeah, it was Jacob.
I don't know what that was.
Snake just crawled up Earl's leg.
No, I stepped on a can of
worms.
of Lysol.
Oh. And it
So
went
I was-
off?
Yeah, because it was laying down like this. I don't know how it was laying down actually, but either way, I pushed the button and it did that cool thing.
So you did think it was a snake at first. Okay.
I didn't know what it was. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Yeah, where is that fan group?
Jerry.
Jerry's obviously a fan of you guys, not me. So
No, Jerry hates us.
No,
Jerry invited you for a beer.
I'm perfectly okay without a fan group. So
But yeah, so back to what I was saying though, it was more of a sloppy arm wrestling match, is what it really was. Who's gonna have a cleaner passing game, but not really who's gonna try to score.
yeah, I mean it's I mean obviously with U.S. soccer, you're not going to get the pretty styles of play that you're going to see out of La Liga or Serie A or Premier League. You're not going to see that. But in terms of what we like to see, I mean, I'm really surprised there weren't more negative comments about the style of play on Saturday compared to the talk about subs and other things like that. Because there's a couple guys over on Facebook who are usually really loud about not liking the way that things looked.
No, there's one person that's really loud.
Yeah.
And his name is Cole. And he actually was not on Facebook this past weekend. At least I didn't see anything from him.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I try not to go over there, especially after matches. But
And I didn't go on until Monday morning.
mm-hmm.
I actually stayed out of the United group, out of the United Nation until Monday morning. And then I was like, yeah, I'm tired of seeing this shit. So let's comment. And it was like at 5:30 in the morning. So
yeah, I saw you kind of start to go back and forth with somebody. But I just kind of dipped out, like, I mean, you guys know I don't post over there a whole lot. So the next thing I had on tap for talking about the match on Saturday was Austin Yearwood. The return of Austin, finally saw him back after close to 2 months, and he looked really good. He was back in the lineup. Harry Swartz was back in the lineup. But of the two, Austin clearly had the better night. Picked up the assist number 1, looked really good up and down that left side. How good was it for you guys to see Austin back?
I liked it. I mean, Austin's a really good player. Obviously, he showed it with the assist, with the on-point assist, threw a couple people in front of someone else. And yeah, so very on point. But really, I mean, once we're healthy, once we get Suggsy back, when we get Jerome back, Nava back, and Nico back, I mean, we're deep. I mean, we're as deep as we can get, I think. I mean, Nava could play both attacking and the midfield. Suggsy obviously does the same thing as Yearsy does, so that'll be interesting to see who actually gets the start and who doesn't, because Yearsy's been proving himself. At least he proved himself on Saturday night. So when Suggsy does come back, I mean, that's going to be a fun competition to watch, and I'm actually okay with it, because if Yearsy has a bad week at practice or training, then Suggsy can step in. And if Suggsy doesn't feel up to par for it, then yeah, Yearsy can step in and fill that role too. But yeah, so I'm actually excited for the next couple of weeks of us just getting healthy, because that's exactly what we need.
Yeah. So Jacob, I want to ask this next one of you. I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think Josh Suggs is coming back this season. I truly don't. And so with the reemergence of Austin Yearwood coming back, with Ratty having the appearances that he has, do you think we see Josh Suggs even if he is healthy?
If he's healthy, he's going to play. He's the captain has been the captain for 4 years. If he's fully healthy, he will at least get some play. Not saying he's starting every match when he's healthy or anything like that, but we will see him in there, probably start a match or two, and then maybe come off the bench the rest of them. But if he's not 100% or over 100%, I don't think we need to rush him back. I know that Suggsy's getting up there. Has been around the USL for quite a bit. So if he, I mean, it's not like risking somebody's future, like extended future by bringing him back early, but you still want him for next year. I'm pretty sure he'll be back next year, and you want him healthy and ready to go next season. And when you have Ratty and Yearwood and Tete and Harry and Bruce and Swahi and Seymour and Ryden, all capable of playing on that back line and a back four, or a back three, depending on what shape we decide to play. I personally like us in a back four better, but you don't have to rush him back if he's not 100% healthy, and that's a luxury that we have that I'm very grateful for. And Ratty's emergence and Yearwood getting healthy are definitely two steps to having that depth that we need to make a run here if we're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced that we'll see Suggs again in the regular season. I mean, at this point, like you said, no need to rush him back. But even if he does, like I just don't know. I just don't know if there's a spot for him at this point with how well those guys have been playing on the left. And that's not to say that he couldn't step in, that he couldn't make a difference, but yeah, don't rush him, and I just, hopefully we see him back for the postseason. And talking about some other guys, we saw Jerome finally get moved up to questionable on the injury report this week. So, and we thought Jerome was going to be back sooner rather than later. We thought Christian was going to be back pretty quick. We're fairly certain that Nico's not going to be back for the regular season, or at least not until towards the very end of the regular season, depending on what happens there. Now, we don't know the extent of the injury, but I mean, is it fair to assume that we're all in the same boat here as don't rush them back? Or is there a need to maybe go to some of these guys like, hey, can you step up in these last 4 matches?
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. I mean, this 2-week break couldn't come at a better time. I mean, with Jerome being questionable, we were told a couple weeks back that Navas should be back sometime soon. I have differing opinions about Suggsy, but sorry, I
appreciate that.
I had to go blow my brains out for a couple seconds there.
But
yeah, so I have a different opinion that Suggsy will be back.
Okay.
Especially with how he plays. I mean, he plays hungry. We've seen him in press conferences where he shows that he's hungry and he shows he's still the leader. So he will. I think if he's 75 to 90%, he's going to push to play, and if he's 100%, he'll be in there regardless of what's going on. Just because that's who Suggsy is. I don't see him on the bench. I can't see him on the bench, especially with him being such a leader of the team. I mean, we've seen in press conferences where he's asked, "What's your message to the team when they're down 1 going into half?" And it's just continue to play your game. You guys are doing good. Continue to play your game. So he is the emotional leader of the team. And I think that when he does come back, which, like I said, I believe will be before the end of the season, it'll be a whole different ballgame for us.
Jacob, what do you think?
I started this conversation.
I know. I'm just,
No, I mean I agree with Earl. It's if he's 100% healthy, he will be in the lineup. He
Well,
just he's he part of the downfall of this club at times, I think, is their what's the word? Why can't I think of the word?
Part of their downfall is their eagerness to please the fans.
Well, it's not even that. It's they feel like they have to rely on the locals or the people that kind of have been with the club a long time. Look at Devin last season specifically before he had to go out. He was not playing well at all, and decided they kept putting him out there. And you look at that. You look at Juan Pablo Guzman. I know he's not from here, but he's an elder statesman and has been part of the club since the beginning. And last year, he probably shouldn't have got near the playing time that he did, and he kept getting it. So their inability to get off of players that aren't necessarily performing well, but are key players emotionally for the team can hurt them sometimes. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, because when Suggs is right, Suggs has still been one of our better players. I mean, he took out Earl, almost killed him. And that was a play that he was making because he loves to bomb up that left side and get after it. And he's really good at that. And so he brings something that Ratty's probably the only one that I could say can kind of match him there. I know Yerzy has had a couple of really nice assists from that position, and we've seen him in a much more advanced position this year than we have in the past, but he's still not Suggs, especially with the ball at his feet and a defender in front of him. If you get Yerzy in space, he can put a beautiful dime in like he did this week. He can cut back to that right foot and had a banger last season. And so we've seen him do that kind of stuff, but match in and match out, when Suggs is healthy, he's incredible on that side. So if he's 100%, he'll be out there. He just will. And I'm okay with it, because he might not give us 90 minutes, but I like the idea of him being out there for, 55, 65 minutes, and then bringing in somebody like Ratty, whose speed and intensity is a little different than Suggsy, and can change things up quite a bit. And he's scary when he gets up there too, for different reasons than Suggs. I think he's more of a physical threat. Suggs just knows what to do and is very cerebral with it, and then also can have a little burst of speed to get past you.
As far as the other injured players that I had mentioned, do you think there's any reason to go to them and be like, hey, look, is there any way that you guys can go here in these final 4 matches? Or do you just let them try to rest up?
Just let them rest up. I don't see a point to rush anyone back. I mean, we have the depth. Even with our injured players, we still have the depth to do something, and it showed on Saturday. I mean, we just went against the top team with 4 players down. I mean, you have Jerome, who somehow draws fouls in the box. You have Nava, who's just a lightning bolt in a bottle waiting to explode. I mean, you have Suggsy, who's the captain. I mean, your team captain is down on injury, and yet you still play against the best team and hold them to one goal.
But we talked about in that match how the offense was non-existent, and so to me, we brought in Romario, we got Mondo back, we brought in Frater. None of those guys have played with Nico or Jerome. Maybe Nico and Mondo once, but I don't even think that was the case. So
Frater played with Nico at home.
Okay. Well, they haven't played very much together, and they haven't developed that chemistry. And if we are to make a run in the playoffs, which I understand is not likely, but it's not impossible. We have seen it in this league before. We've seen it. I mean, any one-off playoff match that you have, anything can happen in it. And if I truly believe that if we get healthy and get our offense back and can get on the same page, our defense is good enough that if we can score a couple goals, we can be a problem for anybody. I mean, you saw it. Our defense held San Antonio to 0 legal goals, and that was missing Suggs still and whatnot, and so the defense is there. We just have to be able to consistently produce more chances and finish those chances. And to me, Nico, Jerome, Kevon, Romario, if we can get those 4 healthy and playing together and chemistry wise on the same page, I'm not saying all 4 of them at the same time, although that would be kind of fun. If we can get them on the same page and being able to rotate in and out and not miss a beat, that's a scary freaking front for teams to play. And so I said 0 legal goals, Harry. I just sent you pictures, Harry. Did you not get the pictures? I mean, they're clear as day. I don't know what to tell you. So, and so
Jacob wanted to leave you with that as you logged off, Harry.
I thought that's why you said goodnight, was you were pissed off that I said it. So I was happy about it. So I would ask Jerome and Nico specifically, hey, are you like 90%, like 95%? Mm-hmm. Can we get you on the bench and get you in there for 30 minutes? If there's no risk of aggravating whatever it is. I mean, obviously if somebody's 70%, then probably not going to bring them in. But if they're close and they're like, well, I don't know, you just give us we'll put you in for 10 minutes. Just get 10 minutes with Romario or with Frater or something like that and see what happens. And so, because I mean, our offense has been a problem all year, but it definitely has looked worse since those guys went down with injuries.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Yeah, I mean, 4 matches left. I mean, we got to figure out something here pretty quick. I mean, obviously, results from around the league did not go well for us over the rest of the weekend. I mean, we're only 4 points. We've got 4 points on Oakland and RGV, who are sitting 7th and 8th currently. 5 points on Monterey Bay, who has been on absolute tear and picked up a 5-0 win on Saturday, albeit against the Indy 11, but it was an impressive showing from Monterey. But I do have one more question for you guys regarding Saturday night's match, and I have to ask, knowing that New Mexico United and David Carl send out pronunciation guides for our players' names, why is it so freaking hard for these broadcasters from other clubs to take 2 seconds to look over them? I mean, if you could say Patino and Parano and some of these other names without issue, why do you have to say Portillo all night long?
Got no answer for you.
To be fair, his name is not in the pronunciation guide.
Still, you're on the call for a South Texas team. You call Hispanic player names all the time. Justin Portillo is a guy that's been around the league for years.
I'm with you, Seth. I'm just saying, you mentioned the pronunciation guide, and I looked at it, and he's not on there.
No, so, I know, but
so I don't know. We had when I was in middle school, we were living in Tier C.
I mean, do you not eat tortillas in South Texas?
Well, so we were living in Tier C, and there are several Padillas down there, right?
Yeah.
Well, then a family moved from Texas, Texas or Oklahoma, one or the other, and their last name was Padilla, and they pronounced it Padilla. That is how he pronounced it. Because I remember being in his class and a teacher calling roll and saying Padilla, and he corrected her. And at first we laughed because we thought he was joking, and he was not joking, and it was very strange. So I don't understand.
In the
I don't
grand
understand
scheme
why.
of things.
I don't understand why everybody mispronounces all of our names.
Yeah.
It's and maybe
And you
to
know
be
what?
fair.
You know what really got me? He got Alexi's last name correct.
Kind of.
He came like this close to getting Alexi's last name correct, but he couldn't say Portillo.
So while he's in the pronunciation guide,
Yes.
so that could be why. No, I don't know. It seems like maybe what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, we really only watch away broadcasts when we play them, right? So maybe they just don't know how to pronounce anybody's name, and even when it's not our team playing them, they're mispronouncing Phoenix players left and right. They're mispronouncing RGV players left and right. I don't know. So maybe they just can't read. And
This
if
is
that's the case.
okay.
I feel bad for them.
This is the guy who has done play-by-play for the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA and some other teams. He's been host on news programs, and cannot say the name. I went and found this guy's Twitter account, and a few days ago he tweeted out a list of goals for San Antonio San Antonio FC for the rest of the year.
I wish I had half of the amount of time on my hands that Seth has. If I just had half that time, I would. I would be so happy.
Because over in the subreddit, we keep a match thread going, and so people are asking who there was. I missed the names at the beginning, so I just rewound real quick, found the names, went and found the guy because someone was complaining about the bro guy, the color commentator, and so I found the names, found the play-by-play guy, went and found his Twitter, and this took all of 5 minutes. And he had a list of goals for San Antonio FC for the rest of the year. It's like 1 through 4 numbered. I quote tweeted it, said number 5, learn how to pronounce @ Portillo's name. And like the club went and liked it and retweeted it. I don't get it. It's not just San Antonio, it's other teams too. Even against RGV this week, even Edwin was like, well, maybe the club should send out a pronunciation guide. I'm like, they do. The club sends out a pronunciation guide.
Well, I know RGV butchered the crap out of Swahi's name.
Swahi, out of several names.
Yeah, they called him Suai.
Suai, yeah. I'm like, you calling pigs? Like, what are you doing? But yeah, I just, and we try our hardest.
Hold on. What do you know about calling pigs?
I grew up in South Georgia, man. I know about calling pigs. And with that, Earl mutes himself. But we try our hardest, and we're not even professional, on-air broadcasters. Yes, we do the podcast, and we have a fair number of listeners. Now we appreciate every single one of you, but we try to do our research. We try to make sure we pronounce guys' names right, and if we don't, we try to correct ourselves. We try to figure it out.
To that comment.
Objection, hearsay.
Because I am on the radio, so I am a professional.
Yes. Earl is a professional radio
Do you get paid?
broadcaster.
Of course I get paid. I don't do this shit for free.
You do this for free, so I just
I
thought
know.
maybe.
There's no money in this shit.
I
get paid for radio.
I wrote for ESPN Radio for 3 years for free.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even like with high school football, we get how to pronounce their names. Because some kids have weird names. So I don't understand the mispronunciation because they're pretty obvious, especially like when they hand them to like media people doing calls. Yeah, they're pretty broken down, more than what David Carl breaks them down. So I don't know.
It just drove me nuts, and he just kept doing it all night long. And even the bro guy, the other guy, I don't remember his name now, the former player, he even pronounced it correctly at one point, but the play-by-play guy kept getting it wrong. And just guys, learn the names of the players that you're covering, even if it is the away team. I'm looking right at you. Yes, I'm looking right directly in the camera. Learn the names. That's all I gotta say. Jacob, Earl, any closing thoughts on Saturday night? We'll make it a short one this week because we don't have a match until next Friday.
Yeah, why'd you point at me, you asshole?
Nah, I got nothing. It was a sloppy match. We did have a beautiful goal. We definitely had more chances there towards the end of the game. After we scored, really, I felt like we put our foot down and really tried to get another. And I was happy to see that. And so it is. It's a good effort against a really good club, and hopefully 2 weeks off and coming off of that result, we can try to get 3 points in Vegas coming up.
Earl, any closing thoughts? Or are you good with?
Good with that.
All right. Well, with that being said, Jacob, get us out of here.
All right, guys. Harry, Robert, I love that we have 2 San Antonio player fans that are our most devoted commenters. Specifically for this game, I mean, we expect that, but you guys are in here week in and week out, no matter who we're playing, and I appreciate that.
Oh, I have something for you guys, actually. So it wouldn't be a podcast without my corny dad jokes. And I know Harry and Robert made a comment about it last week, so this one's for you two. Hopefully, Robert, if you're still here, if you want to pass it on to Harry, you can say it's from you. That's fine. So, what is blue and not heavy?
A lot of things.
I don't know. What is blue and not heavy?
Light blue.
No, I liked that one, Earl. I'm mad at myself with how much I liked that one. So, bravo. Anyways, as I was saying, next week we will talk about a Las Vegas Lights preview. We will probably have some nonsense since there's not a match this weekend. Getting out of here with just over an hour is a minor miracle, and you can thank the scheduling gods for that, not having us not have a game. So next week, Tuesday, 9:00, catch a preview for Lights and some trademark nonsense, of course. And hopefully Earl will have some more dad jokes that are actually good.
I got one for you right now if you want it.
Is it actually good?
If you want
Listen.
Listen.
Actually, no.
Go ahead, Earl.
What do you call a sleeping bull? A bulldozer.
And on that note, guys, yeah, I wish you would have closed with the light blue, but that one wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. With that, I apparently didn't get a memo to wear a white kit tonight. So thanks for not giving me that memo. No, you're done, Earl. You're done.
Do you guys want to hear
You're
a joke about construction?
No.
Okay, good, because I'm still working on it.
I knew that was coming. And on that note, guys, until next Tuesday, Somos Unidos.